Venom. Is it good? Is it bad? Some people say it's good, some people say it's absolute dog shit. What do I say? So Venom tells the story of Eddie Brock, played by Tom Hardy, who becomes infected with an alien parasite called Venom, which turns him into a superpowered anti-hero. Riz Ahmed plays the film's villain, who becomes infected by a similar parasite called Riot. Predictably, Venom then has to stop him in a stereotypical superhero dust-up. Okay, so we'll start with the visuals. I thought the visuals were okay in general for Venom. The camera work is good. I really like the framing and lighting throughout the entire movie. I didn't see any problems there. Everything was well lit. Everything was clear enough to see. There were some issues with the CGI. There was a lot of very bad special effects throughout the film. They didn't look like they'd spent an awful lot of time and money on them, and it showed at times. But aside from that, everything else was great, and the way that Venom looked was perfect. And he looked, if you're a fan of the comics, then you're probably expecting Venom to be sort of like a gorilla, because that's how he looks in the comics, a gorilla with this big grin filled with teeth. And that's exactly how they portray him in this. He looks exactly right, minus the white spider on his chest, which we'd all love to get, but unfortunately we're not going to get that. The other symbiotes, they were very bland and uninteresting looking, and the fights between Venom and the symbiotes ended up being boring as a result. Kind of like the mess that Michael Bay made with Transformers, in that they all look so similar that it was oftentimes difficult to see what was going on. Venom does suffer from that a little bit, although the shooting and editing style of the film made the action scenes much more enjoyable and easier to follow. I was happy to see none of the horrible MTV style fast cuts throughout the film. It was edited really well and at a very good pace. For the audio department, the music was unintrusive through most of the film. It wasn't bad. There was nothing bad about the music at all. I just felt like Venom lacked a theme for a start. It would have been nice to have a bit of a theme. I have no idea what fucking theme you could give him, but maybe that might have been a good idea, to give the music some character as well as the actual film itself. But it was never bad. It was always unintrusive, and most of the time it matched the tone and mood of the scene, which was good. On the audio front, Tom Hardy's Venom voice is spectacular. It is dead on exactly how I always imagined Venom should and would sound. So I'll come to Tom Hardy's performance a bit later, but in terms of the actual audio effects for the voice, it's perfect, dead on, no complaints. Performances wise, nobody really puts a foot wrong. I'll start with the weaker ones. Riz Ahmed he's not great. I mean, his character is a bit shit. You know, Indian Mark Zuckerberg is a shit character. It's very generic, so he's not given much material to work with. But what he is given, he doesn't come across threatening. He doesn't come across as intelligent. He doesn't really come across as anything apart from the stereotypical movie villain. So that's kind of disappointing, because I've seen him in other films and he's pretty good. So he's a bit wasted in this. Michelle Williams was good as Tom Hardy's girlfriend. I didn't see her put a foot wrong through the entire movie. She came across very genuine and sincere in her performance, and a lot of the times you find yourself rooting for her, which is a good thing, because that's exactly what an actor is supposed to do, make you connect with the character, or revile them if they're playing a villain. Pretty much all of the side characters and extras and background characters were average at best. I got the impression that most of the budget for this film was spent on Tom Hardy and Michelle Williams, because there's really not many other places where you can see the budget being spent. That brings us on to Tom Hardy, who is by far and away the standout performer of the entire film. He pretty much has to carry the second act of the movie on his own, often playing against himself. And he does an amazing job. It's so engaging and it's so entertaining that even though the first and third acts are very forgettable, he makes the second act make up for all that, because his performance is so good. It's intriguing, it's interesting, it's at times very funny. There's times when it's even a bit sympathetic and relatable. He hits every single note perfectly. I thought that he was a good casting for Eddie Brock and Venom when I first heard it, and I'm convinced he is now. The writing is extremely hit and miss. The first and third acts are absolutely terrible. They're both boring and they're both uninteresting. And it would seem like I'm saying this is a bad movie because I've literally just said 2/3 of it is shit. But that would be a lie, because the middle act is so entertaining and so interesting that it makes up for the disappointing first and third acts, which is weird because normally the first and last thing you remember about a movie are the most memorable parts. Not so with Venom. The second act contains the exploration of Eddie's relationship with Venom, and that is where the meat of the story is, and it's where all the entertainment is. As soon as we get into that act where Eddie has got the symbiote and he's started to learn about it and it's learning about him, great stuff. Very entertaining, it's very interesting, there's some action, there's laughs, there's good moments of character growth, and there's even good dialogue. So it's well worth it just for the second act alone. I think it's obvious that the bulk of the writing was spent fleshing out Venom and Eddie Brock's relationship, because sadly it means that all the other characters are very underdeveloped as a result of that. Overall, there's people that will tell you to avoid Venom like the plague because it is a piece of flaming dog shit. But fuck those guys. Because honestly, adjust your expectations and get ready to enjoy some weird shit, and there is some weird shit in this film, and you will be pleasantly surprised. You won't be disappointed. Don't go into it expecting it to be Spider-Man Homecoming. It isn't going to be that. Just go into it expecting it to be something entertaining at times, and at other times, the worst it ever is a bit boring. It isn't actually ever a shit movie, despite what you read in the magazine columns. So that's it, that's my opinion of Venom. Have you seen Venom? Let me know what you think. Do you agree with me? That's it for this review. I'll catch you on another episode on Friday. This week it will be another movie you might have missed, or it could potentially be a review that was requested. Or it could potentially be a review that was requested by one of my subscribers. Thanks a lot for tuning in, guys, and I'll catch you next time.